Welcome to the TaxMinds Tax Software Academy. We are going to go over today how to e-file a tax return using our tax software. So let's get started. So here we are on a on a demo version of our tax software, and we're inside a client's tax return. So if we are here on the 1040, let's say we already put in all their income and all their information as needed, we are going to go over into the e-file summary where it says here. And in this section, we are going to put the date of when they're going to sign their signature date. They're going to sign their tax return. So if we send it over today, or the taxes are not ready today and she signs it for tomorrow, we have to put the most current date that it's going to be signed. So the signature date goes here, and then we're going to check the box to e-file the return, and then we're here going to automatically generate the PIN for the taxpayer. So the practitioner PIN will automatically be generated since you were our default preparer. And in this section here, we're going to put whether they issued us with a state ID, a driver's license, in order to verify their identity. If they don't have an ID or a state ID or driver's license, then we can accept a passport as well. It doesn't need to get the information here, but you do need to attach it to the document section in order to verify the person's identity. You put in all the information here of their driver's license and state ID if you have them. And then here, we're going to select that you authorize, and this will be the name of your tax office to generate the PIN. Because remember, up here, we put the automatically generate the PIN for the client. Then here on where it says refund payment, we are going to select and speak to the client how they want their refund process. Now, typically, if a client wants to pay by refund, we must use a bank product. So, the bank basically what it does that when the taxes are processed, the IRS will send the money to the bank that we select, and that bank will direct the payment for your tax services directly to your firm and the remaining balance to the customer, the taxpayer. So this is if they want to use a pay by refund option. You select the bank products, you select the appropriate bank that you're using or that you prefer. And then the banks will take care of that issue of issuing the tax refunds and payments. Now, keep in mind that you as a tax professional, you only get paid when the taxpayer gets paid as well. So usually the time is 21 days. The other option here is if the client decides to pay for your tax services beforehand using Zelle, cash, or any other form of payments that your firm usually accepts, and they pay it outside of their refund, then you can have them select the direct deposit. You can select this for them, direct deposit, where the IRS sends them the refund directly to their bank account. Now, let's say, for example, if the client, instead of getting a refund, they have a debt. So basically, what happens in this situation is you can give them an option of when the taxes get processed, they can directly debit it from their bank account if they would like. Otherwise, if they prefer to just get a bill online or wait until it gets posted onto their irs.gov account, then you can select this. Basically, you're going to pay the balance due by mail or through their irs.gov website. Okay, so here, if you select the direct deposit, you are going to put in their banking information here. But if you choose the bank product, whichever one it is, then it'll automatically populate the bank's information. Because remember, the IRS is going to deposit to the bank so the banks can distribute your fees versus the fees for the client. So they're going to send you your fees, and the remaining balance is going to go towards the taxpayer. So this will be the bank's information for the routing and the account number directly. Now, after you have e-file, if you put anything else other than bank, then you would go into the next step of e-filing the tax return. However, if you select the bank product, there's just one extra step that you need to make, which is completing the bank application, which is located on the others section here on the menu bar. And you're going to select the bank application here. Now, this one is for Santa Barbara TPG Bank, which is an IRS approved bank. And here we're going to do a refund transfer. So, refund transfer is basically that the IRS is sending it to the bank to transfer the refunds and pay you your tax fees. Now, here, what we're going to do is also all these items in red. It means that you're required to click or provide the information. So in this situation, we need to click on consenting to use the tax return information. Consent to disclosure the tax return information with the bank as well. The application date must always be the current date of when the tax return is going to be submitted. So you type in today's date. Everything in yellow gets automatically transferred and auto-populate from the 1040 tax form. You're going to put in the client's information here. And on this section here, they do need the client's verification, driver's license, state ID, or passport. So here you can put the type of ID or identification that the client has provided for you in order to prove their identity. So you're going to select the appropriate one and then put the remaining information of each person there. Now, the disbursement method, we're going to tell the bank how to disperse their part of the refund to the client. So you ask the client if they would like to receive a paper check by mail, or if they would like to receive it as direct deposit when it gets processed. And then here you would need to put in the client's routing and account information and identify if it's a checking or a savings account. The other option is sometimes with your office, we may provide a green dot prepaid Visa card. And we basically is a card that gets the money deposited into that card whenever it gets transferred over by the client by the banks. The other option is to having a bank check that will be mailed directly over to the taxpayer. Usually, the fastest way is a direct deposit because sending over a bank check may take a little bit more extra time than when it's processed. Now, please keep in mind that there are bank fees that are associated with these transactions. So whenever there's a pay by refund, there are several bank fees that are associated. So there's refund processing fees, document preparation fees. There's a bunch of different fees that are fees directly from the bank. Now, you don't need to do anything with those in this section. The bank will automatically, this information will automatically be here for the bank, and this gets paid over to the bank. Now, there is here a section where you put the tax preparation fee here, and I'm going to show you how to implement your tax preparation fee now shortly. And then here, you're going to select this in order that you're agreeing. Now, in order for you to put in the tax preparation fees, you're going to put right here under others, you're going to go to the invoice. Now, remember in an earlier video, I showed you how to implement your a price list, whether you can also charge people by forms or by a set price. So let's say, for example, if you select one of your default prices and for your forms, as you can see here, it says it's $50. Obviously, you're going to charge a little bit more, but let's say if it's for your certain pricing here, maybe you have default pricing for single person with dependents or a single person with or married couple or somebody with Schedule C. It just depends. So you can either select your default price list here, or the other option is if you just want to use your judgment based on the time that you spent on the time of the tax return and that's how long you spent in the complexity of it. Then here on the 1040 section, you can just put in your price for this tax return for the total price, which would be 1040. If your client would like to have a copy of this invoice, then you are able to do this by going here to print and just put in print form. If they only need an invoice, you can just go print and print only this form. So we're gonna select just this form that we want to print out, not the entire tax form. And this is pretty much what it would look like. Well, it would have your company logo here, your company's information, and it'll have the information. If you're charging by form, it'll show. And if you're charging by the 1040, it'll show here, etc. And this will be the invoice if your client needs it. And then once you put in if you have any other charges, as mentioned, you can do charges by time or other charges that you would like to implement. You can do it here. If you want to provide any discounts or any other type of descriptions, you can do so here. Now, everything you put here on the invoice section, it's going to link to the bank application. So here, when you scroll down to the bank application, remember the tax preparation fee was at 0. Well, now it's going to reflect the 650 preparation, right? So here, the system automatically will calculate how much the total amount, which is here, of the refund that they're supposed to get, minus your tax preparation fee and minus any bank fees. And this is going to be the amount that's going to be sent over to the client. So this amount will be sent over to the tax preparer and then and to the firm. And then this amount will be sent over to the client directly. Okay. So once you review and you have all that information, you're going to send the client request for remote signature for the client, and there they'll be able to review and then sign the tax return. Once the client has signed the tax returns, remember you can go here and go to the My Tax portal, and then you will see when the clients have signed the tax return. Then what you're going to do is usually before you even submit anything, I usually do perform review just to make sure that there's no errors or any information missing. So you can see like here in the client information sheet, there's a red sign here that we have. You're going to want them to make sure that everything here is clicked off appropriately and there's no other information that needs to get put in. You want to make sure everything is in green. And if you're not really sure, you can select this option here and it's going to perform a review and let you know if there's anything that is an automatically red flag. So in this case here, the year of the primary signature in the return header must be equal to the processing year. So here, because this is a demo version, we have the year of 2024. It must be today's date. Otherwise, it gets rejected. Now, once you update it with today's date, you're going to you're going to save it, and then you're going to hit for transmit to transmit return. So once you transmit the return on this section here, then you're all set. Then you have to wait until confirmation from the IRS, which usually takes a few minutes and sometimes a couple of hours, but it usually is pretty promptly. You'll get the confirmation if the IRS accepts it or rejects it for whatever reason. So, e-file, transmit the return after you have the signature and you put in all the information on their tax return. And that's how you submit an e-file, you electronic file, a tax return using our TaxMinds software.